Every year, teams are looking for franchise-changing quarterbacks, whether that's drafting one, trading for one, or signing one in free agency. The draft's coming up, and that's probably the best way to acquire a franchise quarterback. So, in this year's draft, both Cam Ward from Miami and Shedeur Sanders from Colorado are considered the top guys. We're here to focus on them today. We'll be comparing the close to unanimous top 2 quarterbacks in the 2025 NFL Draft, breaking down the tape and talking about the pros and cons in each of their games. The main point of this video is to address the top of the quarterback class, talking about what I saw on tape and the type of overall players that Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are and might turn into once they're drafted into the NFL. Quick reminder, if you simply just enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like and also subscribing, and I'll have a lot more draft content coming soon. Now, let's get into the video. We'll go over the archetypes and type of quarterbacks that both Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward are to help paint a picture and lay a foundation for the rest of this video. Cam Ward's a fearless, big-armed, and creative quarterback, and even though I don't like comps, the Jordan Love comparison is good if you made me choose. You won't find many passers with Cam Ward's confidence and conviction. This dude has a lot of faith in his ability. Shifting over to Shedeur Sanders, who's more of a pocket passer, field general with good accuracy and performs his best when he's in structure. Shedeur is also very confident, but doesn't boast elite physical attributes or any intangibles really. Now that we know our quarterbacks, let's hop into the main discussions for both of these guys. The first thing I'll bring to the table, and this may be one of the more important things for a quarterback, is arm talent. Not a lot of people are good at judging this, and some may not even understand what arm talent is. You also can just look to last year where there was the narrative swirling that Bo Nix had a bad arm, which is beyond stupid even to this day. But I'd tell you that arm talent's a word mostly used for arm strength, but it entails a heck of a lot more than just that. It is pretty much what it sounds like. You're talking about just the arm, nothing else. How strong is your arm on its own, even when you're off platform or getting hit? How can you apply finesse to alter the trajectory of the throw? How many arm angles can you use to create different passing lanes? Can you threaten different release points to avoid obstacles in your way while still being accurate? To me, that's really arm talent. If that doesn't answer it, just go ask Google then. Probably does a better job than I just did anyways. Apart from that rant, let's talk about specifically Shedeur and Cam's arm talent. I personally think Cam's arm is better. Now, this is pretty consensus and shouldn't be a surprise, but that's why I bring it up. I'd like to talk about the why and maybe dive into more of the intricacies rather than just saying, yeah, Cam Ward's got the better arm, and just moving on. That's too boring. We'll look at this where it's purely velocity outside from the opposite hash. See how he just drives the ball and it doesn't die and it's there on a line. That's just one example. Next one, we'll use this little flood concept. When Restrepo's at the break, Cam readies his arm, but you see there's coverage underneath and over top, so Cam has to adjust, and he does by using touch and still let it towards the sideline and fit it in the tight window that far down the field. There's so many other things that make this a terrific rep for Cam, not to mention the feet here, but I just wanted to highlight different ways that Cam can use just his arm. Now, Shedeur's a little different. Here we have a timing route outside. Opposite hash is a far ways away, but this is where he's smart. Watch where he places this ball. It's down and away. So even though the ball sails in the air for longer, he understands that and knows the DB could close in on it. So Shedeur compensates for that airtime with the throw, placing it away from the coverage. Here's a leak concept where he'll be watching downfield and taking a bit of a deeper drop. You just watch it one time in normal speed and what stands out. There's a lot of arc. The ball spends time in the air while defenders close down. And yes, there's someone in his face and there are defenders underneath that he has to throw over. But that's what I'm talking about. We saw Cam fit it over defenders' heads without sacrificing velocity on the throw. That's where these two differentiate, and that's why I view Cam as the better arm in the class. We'll spark a new conversation, and the topic will be throwing on time. When an offense is constructed, timing is often given a lot of thought. Majority of plays are designed for the quarterback to take his drop, hit his back foot, and get the ball out on time. Watch this from Shedeur as he drops, hits the back foot, settles, and throws. It's on the money. He used his eyes, got hit, and still delivered on time. Here's a little cover one blitz with double slants, and the Y has a corner route to run off coverage. This right here, this is an NFL rep. Watch him. Hits the back foot and delivers a very accurate throw on time. Cam's turn, and he drops back. He has read one, doesn't throw on time, so he holds on and tries to improvise, and yeah, he got away with it, but that's not the point. I don't care how impressive it is. Here we are, off the play fake, dropping back, doesn't have his options downfield. Great, so progress and hit the check down, but no, he'll tuck and run it and still gain yards, and it's still not the point that it worked. The point is, the best of Shedeur is when he's throwing on time and in the construct of an offense. Meanwhile, there's only a handful of examples where Cam Ward actually gets the ball out and doesn't hold on to it. But I will also point out, Shedeur has some dreadful plays when he holds on to it too. Obvious blitz look with man coverage, a dream in a spread offense, though it's kind of a hit or miss with Shedeur. Read one, up the seam, gets free and beat his man. Instead of throwing on the spot, the blitz gets in, as blitzes tend to do. He backtracks and gets sacked. You saw the blitz, you knew that ball needed to come out, and read one got inside and beat his man, but you held on and you took a sack. And that's just one of many bad plays, but I don't want to sit here and dwell on that all day. There may be those bad moments when dragging on a play too long, but both Cam and Shedeur have great improvisational plays too. This is something we've seen get more popular and viewed as more of the norm from quarterbacks coming out of the draft. It's no longer a knock to have that tendency to go out there and make a play. The play that you're watching from Cam Ward right now might as well be the definition of improv in football. It's not like he had some layup either. Ward drops back, scans, nothing's open. Pressure forces him out. He rolls while keeping those eyes up and found a receiver in the back of the end zone, making an astonishing, outlandish play. Hype play to win the game. Cam Ward had nothing other than pressure straight off the snap. He's dead to rights. Not. Cam breaks off 2 sacks, flips the ball out through contact, and remember, this is a game-winning drive and effort. It really doesn't get better than that. Cam Ward's got so many others just like this play too. On the other hand, Shedeur pulls off this incredible Madden-like play where he double backs and finds a guy for a big gain. There was a free runner right off the snap. He did his little loop-de-loops in the backfield, kept his eyes up, worked with his receivers, and got the ball out for a substantial gain when it could have been a bad loss. This is probably the best improv play I saw on Sanders tape. You see him roll right, make a quick decision, and rifle it crossbody on a line for a touchdown. It all started with that play fake, then he felt number 3 off the edge. He pivots and rolls to find himself throwing an impressive touchdown to Travis Hunter. I will tell you, Cam was a bit better than Shedeur and definitely more consistent when outside of structure. But that's how Cam Ward wins, we all know that. His brand and his traits align with this criteria and this aspect of the game so well. I think he's quietly more athletic than people lead on. He's incredibly creative. The arm is outstanding on the move, and he's comfortable in chaos. Again, they both had their bad plays, but both made some dang good highlight throws when extending plays too. The next step is to look at the throws downtown, starting with Cam Ward and a concept that Miami liked called the Yankee concept. And it's easy to see why they liked it when you see Cam excel when throwing it. And when you're talking about vertical passing, that's Cam Ward's wheelhouse. Take a close look with this one. There's a high-low on his right side. His eyes are low to keep number 1 down, and then Cam's letting it fly early after getting a good look for that deep corner over top. It's also a good display of his ability to throw into deep windows like it's some easy intermediate throw that he's practiced 100 times. You see here the common over the shoulder throw and catch, and he had a couple of really great reps tossing it up the sidelines over this past year. Cam Ward might actually breathe just to be aggressive, but it's not crazy or reckless like some expect. Sure, he has some misses just like everyone else, but Ward's consistent, decisive, and talented when pushing the pass game upfield. Now, how does that compare with Shedeur Sanders? It doesn't, and it wouldn't be fair to try comparing the two. Colorado's offense is more of a spread offense where you split everyone out wide, you're pushing the ball horizontally, and your objective isn't to make constant plays downfield. But you can see from Shedeur's throws that it's probably not as sexy, if you will. He's obviously still trying to drive the ball deep, but it's a bit slower and there's more loft. But hey, you can also view this as a good thing. It's more of a catchable ball and easier to track and adjust to. One of the better plays I watched Shedeur make was this seam ball, just an absolute seed. He obviously saw the pluggers, knew where his guy was, but more importantly, he knew where the weakness was on the defense. He was able to fit the ball over coverage and lead his receiver. It was all just a beauty of a rep. Like here, I still have this as a positive rep, but can you see why that would be in question? The receiver on his route won upfield, but the throw forces the receiver back down into contact before eventually becoming a contested catch for the wideout. Another one where the receiver wins, he gets over top and keeps that leverage at the point, but the throw brings him back into contact, forcing a difficult catch point, and he ended up sailing this one too far outside as well. Let's shift gears and talk more about the nitty-gritty details. When I watch these two, I like dissecting the missed throws and thoroughly evaluating why they missed those throws. With Cam Ward, I found that he really just rushes his platform as a passer. You see it right here. He's got the post wheel up the sideline, he sees a window, gets excited, and the ball ends up carrying too far. This one's a seam hole shot. You see him drop back, quickly set his feet, and just rip the seam. It's a slight miss. There's so much funneling through that front foot. Watch as he hops onto the back foot, transfers his power forward, plants that front, turns his hips, and releases. There's no major flaw that stands out, and this seems to work well for him consistently, but you can definitely see his baseball background integrated in this unconventional motion. Now, this is different footwork completely, but look how vertical Justin Herbert's body and frame is when he's driving the ball in a window. It's straight up and down, the feet are calm, and he's not throwing his hip forward at 90 miles an hour. I don't know, this could just be me, but I do see a lot of differences from Cam to Herbert's motion. Shedeur has something a little more noticeable. Did you see it? Let's watch his front foot. Look where that thing's pointed. Meanwhile, his target's to his left, and you want that front foot at least pointed near your target. That's why this one ends up missing so much, and I'll explain more why. Here, his front foot's put in the ground like he's throwing a check down, and the pass ends up behind, gets tipped, and is intercepted. Why this is so important is because of your hip rotation. When throwing this route, your hips are rotating counterclockwise, but that foot in the ground contradicts the body's rotation because it's pointed the opposite way. He obviously gets away with it a lot because this is how he throws, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this gone by the end of preseason. Both Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are good quarterbacks in their own ways. They are different, and in my opinion, Cam Ward has himself in a tier of his own at the top of this draft. I used all of my notes and had AI summarize each guy. Here's what we got. Cam Ward is an incredibly talented quarterback with a big arm, mobility, and impressive improvisational skills. His ability to make creative plays and extend the game gives him a unique edge. However, he can sometimes be overconfident, which leads to mistakes, and his mechanics could be cleaned up. Despite these areas to improve, his upside makes him a top prospect, likely to be selected in the top 5 to 7 picks. Shedeur is an accurate, composed passer with strong leadership qualities. He's not known for his physical attributes like arm strength or mobility, but his ability to manage an offense and distribute the ball. While his lack of experience in a vertical passing game and occasional decision-making flaws could hold him back, he's a solid quarterback who can keep an offense functional with room to develop further. There you go. I'll still do detailed videos for both Shedeur and Cam, but in this one, you can see the contrast when pitting them against each other like I did in this video. But that'll be it from me. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, go down, subscribe, go watch any past content on the channel. It would mean a lot. And I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.